Welcome to Community Connection. I'm your host, Rhett Nelson. Today's topic is parenting. It's a difficult job, and it's one of those things that we tend to get better at over time. If you've ever asked yourself if there was a manual for raising kids, good news, now there is. Luka Yelnia is the author of the book, A Parent's Manual, Secrets to Raising Fantastic Children, and she's joining us on the program today. Luka, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Luka, as a parent, you found parenting advice to be, shall we say, somewhat lacking, and that was sort of your inspiration for writing the book. Do you want to tell us about your experience with that?
Well, generally, it's just that there's so much information out there, and it changes over time, and really, parenting is all about basic, providing love and creating an environment where your children can grow to the best of their abilities. And a lot of these other ones, they all get into technical and medical, and you got Dr. Spock saying this, and then the next generation, well, all of a sudden Dr. Spock was wrong, and who knows, and everybody says they ruin children, and let's just go back to grassroots and common sense.
I love it. Sounds good to me. What would you say are the biggest fears that parents have in raising their kids today?
Well, one of the things that I think contributes to that is that the nuclear family that existed in the 50s doesn't really exist now. And when our children are having their babies, they could be on the other side of the continent. So they don't have the grandparents living in the house and so on and so forth. And they go to remembering their upbringing and applying some of that, and then applying some of what the information they get from the internet or from other friends or whatever. And my book is basically just bringing it back down to grassroots. Your children are individuals from the moment that they're born. You need to react to them as individuals. And some like to be all cuddled up tight and swaddled, and others like to have arms flung and lots of freedom. So every child needs to be treated as an individual.
And let's actually talk about that. What are some tips you have for parents in helping them to raise their kids successfully?
Well, I kind of followed things when my son was born, and I knew virtually nothing about raising kids. Okay? But all of a sudden I had this newborn, right? And I'm going, okay, I knew my son had to be fed. I knew he had to be clean. I knew he had to have clothes and all of that. But my question was, who are you?
Yeah.
So it was developed over time. Right from the beginning, when I put him down to bed, I would kiss him and say, night-night, love you, see you in the morning. And that is something that went on as it became a tradition for us. And other things developed. It was important to eat at least one meal a day with your child and to really talk with your child, not only about their stuff, but about your stuff too, so that they would know you as a person, not just as a figure, and you knew your child as the person that they were at whatever age they were growing up at, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sort of developed into age wasn't necessarily a factor. It was more in how they were handling the things in their lives in regards to what other things could be added, or maybe sometimes things had to be taken away. But getting to know your child, and in a family with multiple children, you cannot raise all of the children all of the same, because all of the children are individuals. They need to be treated as individuals, because saying that, well, I raised them both the same and one turned out this way and one turned out that way, and then being befuddled about it is sort of like, okay, everybody needs to be loved the way they need to be loved, not the way you need to love them.
Right. That's excellent. We're talking with Luka Yelnia. She's the author of the book, A Parent's Manual, Secrets to Raising Fantastic Children. Luka, what's the most important advice you can give to parents today?
One of the things I'm particularly responsive or that's important to me, and that I think that you can change the generations to come, is try really hard not to yell too much. It hurts their ears and their hearts, and it hurts yours too. And yelling is necessary in times of danger. Children need to be taught about danger and poison and all those other bad things in the world. But yelling when you are angry teaches them to do the same thing. And it's the same with hitting. If they learn that hitting is a response to anger, then that's what they're going to do. And then the only other thing that I'd really play on is that every person that I think lives in this world today, one of the first words they hear is no. And you know what? We're going to hear enough no's in our life. We can be the yes person to our children. I raised Greg with the premise that if there's no reason why not, then the answer is yes. And you know what? It worked wonderfully.
Great thought to end on. Again, if you'd like to learn more, check out the book, A Parent's Manual, Secrets to Raising Fantastic Children. Luka, thanks so much for being a part of the program today.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure. If you know of an issue in your community and would like us to discuss it on this program, just shoot an email to Rett, R-E-T-T, at sandhillradio.com, or just call 522-1101. This has been Community Connection. I'm your host, Rhett Nelson. Thanks for listening.